So in the past 24 hours, a banned intercontinental ballistic missile was launched from North Korea. Now, this ICBM missile, this is designed to pretty much deliver nuclear weapons, and it's designed to potentially hit the United States. Now, I want to break down what's going on because what is happening right now is just an escalation of the tensions that we're seeing across the world. This includes Russia, obviously North Korea. It includes Ukraine. China's involved here as well. Iran is, and obviously the United States. What's happening right now, especially just 5 days before our upcoming election, well, according to some, it's terrifying. Now I'll break down what's happening in just a moment, but all I ask is one thing. Takes 2 seconds. Go ahead, hit that like button if you enjoy these daily updates. And now, let's begin. So many people right now are concerned and are worried about what's potentially coming for us here in the United States and for U.S. citizens abroad. Well, look at this. It says North Korea fires banned missile in longest flight yet. Now, just so you have an idea of how far North Korea is to the United States, the shortest distance, obviously just a straight line, is about 6,190 miles. Okay, that's a little bit over 9,900 kilometers. Now, here's what I want to show you. Okay, look at this. It says North Korea's long-range missile test signals it's improved potential capability to attack the U.S. Now, we're going to get into this article in just a moment, but again, the reason why it's concerning is because this test is just days before the U.S. election. It says the Intercontinental Ballistic Missile, or ICBM, has a range that can reach the U.S. from Pyongyang and is designed mainly to deliver nuclear weapons. Okay, let's go ahead and read some of this article right here, though. Okay, let's get right down to it. It says the launch was likely meant to grab American attention days ahead of the U.S. election and respond to condemnation over the North's reported troop dispatch to Russia to support its war against Ukraine. Some experts speculate Russia might have provided technological assistance to North Korea over the launch. It says North Korean leader Kim Jong-un observed the launch, calling it an appropriate military action to show North Korea's resolve to respond to its enemies' moves that have threatened the North's safety, according to the North's state media. Kim said the enemy's various adventuristic military maneuvers highlighted the importance of North Korea's nuclear capability. He reaffirmed that North Korea will never abandon its policy of bolstering its nuclear forces. Okay, that was a lot to take in, but the main one right here, okay, is that it was to grab American attention days ahead of the U.S. election. That's the big one. Now, why does all this matter? Well, it matters for multiple reasons. First, look at this. It says the U.S. readies Guam for ballistic missile defense in event of a China war. Do you think it's just Guam? Do you think Guam is only getting ready for a potential China war? No. It's a potential war with anybody. Now, look at this, and this is why I'm bringing this to your attention. It says North Korean troops in Russian uniforms are headed towards Ukraine, according to U.S. sources. That article right there was just from yesterday. I want to read a little bit of it to you. It says Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin said Wednesday that North Korean troops wearing Russian uniforms and carrying Russian equipment are moving toward Ukraine in what he called a dangerous and destabilizing development. Okay, so North Korean troops are now in Russia wearing Russian uniforms, carrying Russian weapons, and they're heading to Ukraine to fight for Russia against Ukraine, who the United States is backing Ukraine. But look at this report right here. It says bipartisan group of Congress wants President Biden to let Poland shoot down Russian missiles over Ukraine. So the United States is trying to get President Biden to pretty much tell Poland, which is a NATO ally, to shoot down Russian missiles over Ukraine, which could potentially put North Korean soldiers in harm's way. And then some say if the United States does this, this would be an act of war against North Korea. And again, North Korea just sent a intercontinental ballistic missile, off their east coast. Now, I want to read a little bit of this to you, okay? I want to read a little bit of exactly what's going on here, okay? Look at this right here. It says the U.S., South Korea, and Japan also characterized the weapon as an intercontinental ballistic missile, or ICBM, which can have a range of at least 3,500 miles and is designed mainly to deliver nuclear weapons. It says it is the first ICBM launch since December for North Korea, a reclusive nuclear-armed state that has been ratcheting up its rhetoric against the U.S. and its allies, South Korea and Japan. Okay. Now, I've read multiple articles here about kind of what's going on, different statements, and I want to read this one. It says the missile launch was from a site near North Korean capital, Pyongyang. This is at 7:10 a.m. local time. Okay. It says South Korea's Joint Chief of Staff said, now the spokesperson Lee Song-jun said the missile was fired at a very high altitude. It went almost straight up and traveled more than 600 miles before it landed in the sea off North Korea's east coast. Okay. Now, this is why it's such a big deal. The shortest distance between North Korea, okay, and the United States is 6,190 miles. Now, this was launched about 600 miles. Okay, it traveled more than 600 miles before it landed in the sea. Well, some say this was the longest one yet. Others say, okay, that it went 600 miles. But as far as the distance up, this is what I want to show you. Because this right here is, well, troubling. Look at this right here. It says the ICBM was fired at a sharply raised angle and reached a height of 7,000 kilometers or 4,350 miles. This means that it would have covered a further distance if it were launched horizontally. Now, I don't know how true some of these numbers are. Okay, we're still getting the reports. But again, 4,350 miles. That's how far it went up. Okay, that's what it says. Now, it went up 4,350 miles and it came down about 600 miles away, okay, off the east coast of North Korea, not of the United States, okay? Now, keep this in mind. That, again, if this were to be fired at the United States, and this is why some say North Korea is improving on their technology, is because before, this wouldn't have been fired and gone so far. Wouldn't have gone so high, wouldn't have gone so far as the distance. But now it's getting closer to potentially targeting the United States as far as the distance that it covers. Again, this is why some say that's troubling. Now, I'm not here to tell you, this is coming, prepare, right? Hide under your desk, you're at school or you're at work. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is the United States, again, has to be very clear as to what we do moving forward. If we don't have a clear agenda, who knows what's going to happen? Again, and I brought this up and I've been saying this for several years. All it takes is miscommunication, a miscalculation, or even a misfire. Okay? That's all it takes. And we are then in a full-on World War III with multiple other countries. So, we'll see what happens moving forward, but that is what we know as of today. I promise as soon as we get more information on this as to what their goal was behind the tests at this current time, I promise I will bring you all the latest news and updates. But that is what we know as of today. So again, thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.